What's up, guys? Good to see you all here. We're going to be doing a bit of an update here on the tropics. Let me go ahead and bring up everything up here so we can get this going. But anyways, folks, hope everyone's doing well. It's good to see you guys here. Let's see. Let me bring this up here real quick. We got quite a bit of a system kind of rolling through. Thankfully, we didn't get any severe weather over here, thankfully, but we just got a little bit of a front here starting to push through. But anyways, what's up, Justin? Good to see you, man. Hopefully you're doing well. Of course, everybody else who is just now starting to join us. So we got some updates here on the tropics, especially the tropics, because we do have ourselves now a high risk of development here from the Hurricane Center. So this thing's likely going to do something. What's up, Dixie? Good to see ya. Let's see. Justin says, yo, you good? Yeah, I'm good. Hopefully you're doing good yourself. But yeah, no, we now have a 70% chance probability of development here on this system. It has gone up quite a bit since yesterday. I think it was, 40% yesterday during the update we did? I need to get rid of this squeaky chair. This thing's so loud. What's up, Anna? Saying hot and humid in Houston because autumn's on the... What? What is that? Furlough? I'm fine, thanks for asking. Yeah, no problem. No problem. But anyways, y'all, so like I said, we now have a high chance of development here. We'll definitely watch it. We got a 70% chance probability overall of tropical development here in the next 7 days, and a 30% chance during the next 48 hours. So, you know, we even have a little bit of a possibility here. Oh, I got you, Anna. What's up, Tabletop? Saying, should I be good from severe weather? Yeah, you should be fine. So today, severe weather-wise, we only have a little marginal, or I say a little, but it's pretty big. But it does cover, you know, a bit of the mid-Atlantic, the lower Northeast, like Pennsylvania, you know, Virginia, West Virginia, North Carolina, Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, you know, New York State and whatnot. So, you know, we do have a little level 1 threat here today. They did add a 2% tornado risk, actually, for New Jersey. I mean, you can kind of see it's engulfing the entire state here. A little bit of southern New York here, bits of Long Island, western Connecticut, eastern Pennsylvania, and a little bit of eastern Maryland. Also Delaware there a little bit as well. Chris, coming in with a $10 super chat, man. Thank you so much, Chris. Good to see you, dude. Hopefully you're doing well. Thank you so much, man, for the 10. That's greatly appreciated. Helps me out a ton. Huge shout out. Y'all in chat, please give Chris a big thank you if you could. It would be much appreciated. Chris, thank you so much, dude, for the support. You rock, man. That is really, really nice of you. Greatly, greatly appreciated. But we also do have a little bit of a wind threat here today, too. Just a 5%. I mean, it's pretty minimal. It's not anything significant or anything like that, so that's certainly good. But yeah, we do have a little 5% chance. We could see some gusts, possibly upwards of maybe 60 miles an hour, you know, within some of these storms here. We do not have any hail threat here as of right now. Looking at composite radar, actually, you know what? I'm going to hop to local KLWX. You can actually see, I used to live up here. You can kind of see that line there of storms kind of going over the Blue Ridge here. Now, a couple of these could be severe. Which, I mean, you know, if you're out there, definitely keep an eye out there for it. But, you know, it's definitely not anything super, super significant today. So that's definitely good. So it's definitely not like yesterday. I mean, yesterday we had a pretty big level 2 threat overall. Let's see here. Chris, you the man. Yeah, absolutely. Huge shout out goes to you, Chris. Thank you, man. What's up, Brat? Good to see you. Saying I'm a simple man. I see a guy talking about whether I sub. I appreciate it, dude. Yeah, me too. I try to keep things simple here. But I appreciate it, dude. Thanks for subbing. It's good to see you. Hopefully you're doing well. But yeah, nothing big. You know, I do have a couple things I do want to talk about with you guys weather-wise here. Let's bring over the models here. Here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you guys can kind of see this a little better. So let's talk about the future weather. So we actually got another frontal system potentially coming through. So we'll have to look out there for that. You can see right about now we have this high pressure ridge building into the country. You know, this is that cold air mass that came down from up north, and you know, kind of pushing this cold front out here. You know, we have that low pressure system that's developed here, kind of working its way into Canada, just dragging all that precipitation to the east here overall. But so in terms of GFS here, you know, we work our way down in time. You know, there's been a bit of support in terms of maybe another system kind of, you know, piling up here for right around the 20th, which, wait, that's tomorrow. Wait a minute. That's actually tomorrow. You know, you can see this low possibly down in the 990s, bringing some precipitation up north. You know, this could be a little bit of a wind maker. You can kind of see how tight these isobars are, which, you know, show the line of constant pressure. And, you know, due to that pressure change, that can allow for those winds to pick up quite a bit here. So let's look at the winds here. Let's go to lower level winds. Yeah, definitely looks like we're going to be picking up some winds here. Here for tomorrow, looks like it could get pretty windy. Kind of across the plains and whatnot, yeah, especially on the backside, you know, where that cooler air is coming down from up north. You know, we could have some sustained winds of possibly 20, 30 knots or so, which, you know, that's pretty much about 25-ish, 35-ish miles an hour. And of course, we could have some higher gusts as well that we'll definitely need to look into. But yeah, this one will be kind of rolling through. This is for 2 p.m. tomorrow, by the way. You know, definitely could be quite windy out there. Then we'll have another ridge building across the south here. You know, maybe even a second system right around the 24th popping through in like the Central Plains, but it's kind of pushing it now. You know, you don't want to go too far down in time because, you know, obviously the further you look in the models, the more inaccuracies there is, you know, due to just a lot of changes. You know, it's pretty difficult to look far out. You know, you got a lot of people who like to hype things up really far out. Not me. You know, I keep things real with you guys. I really don't like looking that far out because of just how much uncertainty there really is in the models and stuff. So we'll see what happens. So that's basically what's going on here. Now, temperature-wise, here, let's bring up those thermos. We'll look at the 2-meter shaded temps here. So definitely getting a bit of a cool down here from that cold front we just had kind of roll through. This is tomorrow morning. You can see parts of the Ohio Valley, according to GFS, could get down into maybe the lower 40s, upper 30s even in some areas. Definitely could get a little bit cool out there. You know, even up there across like the mid-Atlantic and whatnot, it could definitely get a little bit chilly. Seems like during the daytime too, it could get a little warm down south, but you know, pretty nice. I mean, 60s. Well, for you folks up there, this is pretty nice. For me, this is cold anymore. Considering I live in Florida now, and I have for a couple of years, this has become pretty chilly for me. But for you guys who live up there, I know this is pretty good for you guys. So you know, 60s, nice fall-like temperatures coming through. But you know, maybe even another cool down coming up here right around the 22nd. You know, with that other system that we were talking about. So we'll have to see. You know, fall's obviously here, so we'll definitely, you know, be seeing a lot more of this, I do believe. What's up, Sharon? Good to see ya. Hopefully you're doing well. Dixie says I'm driving to Edmond tomorrow, so it sucks for me. Got you. Well, safe travels, my friend. I have no idea how you say your name, but whoever said hi, everyone, hi to you too. Sharon says yes, coat in Florida. Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's been getting down in the lower 60s here in Central Florida. I'm in Polk County, so I mean I'm literally smack dab in the middle of Florida. I mean, we're getting a little bit more chilly per se. But anyways, but yeah, so let's hop back over here. So, you know, like I was talking about with the tropics here, shifting things over back in the tropics. So we do have, like I said, this new disturbance here, or you know, relatively new. This is 98L. So this is an invest. So an investigation or an invest basically means that they're going to start to they're going to start to really start, investigating the storm here overall. So we now have the hurricane models and stuff like that that's actually running here. So let's actually take a peek at that. What's up, Frog? Good to see you. So pulling up 98L, there's a whole bunch of mixed opinions here in the models with this system. So first of all, let's just show you guys the main hurricane models. You could actually see how we do have the system, working its way to the west here. Right now it's kind of over by the Antilles. It's going to be pretty shallow down into the lower Caribbean Sea. It's going to continue rolling westward for the next few days. I mean, you can see right around the 48-hour mark, which is like 2 days from now, is right in here, just south here of, the Dominican Republic and Haiti. That'll be there about 2 days out. But really, it just slows down. The system really starts to lose a lot of its forward speed. In which it just really slows down, in which that could be a bit of an issue, because what that ultimately does is it makes it to where this thing is like very, very much almost impossible to forecast in terms of where it's going to go right now. So here, let me plug in my phone real quick. Anyways, so yeah, there's a lot of uncertainties just because of that stalling that occurs. Here's the some of the more... I'm sorry, ignore my monitor. It's pretty dirty. I washed it with a rag. Apparently it didn't do a good job. But anyways, in terms of the GEPS models, you can just see how much spread there is, man. You can just see all of these ensembles. Some have it going far west, some have it going, out there just south of Jamaica. Some actually have it pulling, towards Cuba. It's just a huge uncertainty here with the system. I mean, literally anything could happen with this system here. So we'll have to definitely monitor it. We'll have to definitely see what's going to happen with this one. It definitely could be something to really watch out for, just kind of given the area it's going to be going into. Here's some more model support. This is the GEFS. You can really see there's a whole lot of uncertainty. So basically, bottom line, it's just too early to tell with the system. It does need to be monitored, and because it's slowing down, that tells us that there's going to be no wind shear, acting against the storm, which that would basically kill out the storm if there was a lot of wind shear, which there's not. That's why it's stalling. Anyways, here's a satellite view of it. It's still pretty disorganized here. You can really see how dirty my monitor is. I really need to re-clean that. Anyways, you can see, it's still very disorganized. Convection's still all over the place here. For tropical systems, you really want that convection to really be centralized. You want a lot of that thunderstorm activity in one bubble, essentially in like the middle of the storm. But yeah, you can obviously tell there's a little bit of counterclockwise rotation to it. If you look closely, you can see we got a little bit of upper level venting, it looks like. If you look closely on the satellite view, let me zoom in pretty close over here. So you can actually see some of the clouds are moving southwest and some of the clouds are moving north. Now, the lower level clouds are the ones that's moving southwest because of that counterclockwise rotation here. And those upper level clouds are moving to the north, which is typical in venting for tropical cyclones, because that air that gets intaked into the storm must go somewhere. So it goes in the storm, it goes up, and it goes out clockwise. So a little bit of a fun fact for you guys. But yeah, you can really see, it's trying. It definitely is trying to do something here, very obvious venting going on in those upper levels out there. Just really thought I'd mention that with you guys. But anyways, yeah, it's still got a bit of work to do. It's by any means not any big tropical cyclone right now, but it's just literally a clump of storms right now. Let's see, we do got some pretty decent winds being reported out in some of the the Leeward Islands or the Windward Islands. About 20 knots. To the northwest here, it looks like. So we got some pretty decent little wind barbs. So yeah, winds are definitely picking up with the system, but like I mentioned, it still definitely has a bit of work that it needs to do. So, all right, now we're gonna do a little bit more of something we're just going to go right into the hurricane models, essentially. So we're going to hop over to HWRF. This is the HERF model. So we're going to drop down to the 12 UTC run here. So HWRF, just has gradual development of the system. It kind of stalls, just kind of sits there. You can really see this is right around the 23rd, 24th. What is that, Haiti? I believe that, yeah, that's Haiti. That's Dominican Republic over here. So obviously don't take this too serious because of how far this is. I mean, this is 126 hours out. So, it's a little bit of a, it's not super far to where we can't, look at it, but it's far enough to where I wouldn't trust the full outcome right now. Especially because of that stall it's expected to do, and how much uncertainty there is between the models that you're going to see, as we did see, with the spaghetti models and stuff. But, that just means that it's not going to have much wind shear or much winds acting against the system to kind of destabilize it. That's going to basically allow for the system to, have, good potential. Obviously, the waters are still very warm out here. So, we still got really warm sea surface temperatures, pretty deep too, actually. That heat goes pretty deep underwater, because we're kind of in late season and had a lot of time to really, I wouldn't say up well, I guess down well, whatever, whatever it is. It basically just had a lot of time to really warm up the waters. But yeah. Whoa, I just realized I am literally, I was not caught up with the chat. I thought nobody was commenting. My bad. Let's see here. Let me go through some of these comments real quickly. Do I think this will become an influence to Florida weather? It's way too early to tell. Definitely way too early to tell. What's up, Scott? Good to see ya. Sharon says MB, let's see, means maybe. No, millibar, MB is millibar. Also HPA, hectopascals, is a 1-to-1 ratio. It's pressure. It's pressure. Are the keys at risk? They are not. No, but we'll obviously watch it. I mean, we'll see what happens. Yeah, it is millibars. Absolutely. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know why my phone wasn't keeping up with the chat. That's a little weird. Anyways, what's up, RY Fish? I'm just gonna call you that, I guess. I don't know how else to say your name. But yeah, so we'll just have to watch it. That's one model, one take. So, that's that. Now, we have the HMON. This is another hurricane model. Let's see, this is a brand new run. Actually, we're going to hop back to 12 UTC as well, because that one doesn't go that far out. Yeah, HMON doesn't really have a whole lot of anything interesting with that system. You can just see it's just disorganized, and it's kind of all over the place. So HMON doesn't really show much. We got HAFSA. This is a two-part model. HAFSA model shows kind of the same thing. Yeah, it really doesn't have the system doing much. Yeah, I think these models are just having a little bit of a hard time kind of grasping the storm to start. Here's HAFSB, the new model run. It has it going very shallow though. It has it going like right out there by like Aruba, essentially. It gets a little close out there by Aruba. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, you can obviously tell there's just a lot of a lot of disagreement here. Essentially, what's going on? What's up, Misty? Good to see ya. Hope you're doing well, my friend. All right, so let's look at GFS. So this is a main global model. GFS, wow. Okay, GFS has the system really picking up some strength here. It shows it really picking up strength right around the 22nd. So that'll be the day, I was going to say the day after tomorrow, but no, that's not right. The day after that. So on the 22nd, kind of a time, and GFS has the system picking up some strength. But look at that, has it really getting quite strong. Now take this with a grain of salt, but GFS does have that system kind of working its way out there by like, Dominican Republic. It actually has like landfall potentially in Dominican Republic, but don't worry about it right now. Obviously monitor it. We'll definitely keep an eye out there for this, but it's not final. Just keep that in mind. But anyways, so then after we pass through, obviously it loses a bit of strength because of the terrain for these areas. There's a lot of mountains, which is not very good. It really disrupts the lower level circulation of a tropical cyclone. So yeah, these systems don't like mountains very, very much. So that'll allow the system to weaken maybe if it did. Then pulls to the north here, maybe picking up some more strength and then kind of heading out to sea, getting quite big according to GFS. But at this point, we're 200 hours out. I don't like to look this far because of how much things change and just how unreliable they are this far out. But hey, I mean, you see it. GFS has it getting pretty decent. Here, let's see what Euro shows. Yeah, Euro is kind of doesn't really pick up too much on it here. Let's try. Okay, CMC is not available yet. Icon maybe. Let's go. Maybe we'll switch over to the Western Atlantic. This will get a good view of the Caribbean here. Let's see here. GBF says, why is everyone going with the GFS models that have it going out into the Atlantic? Oh, I don't go with just with one model. You guys know that. I don't like to look at just one model, as nobody should. You got to really take all these models into consideration here. You got to keep what they agree on and, throw out what they disagree on, essentially. The common ground, the common denominator is what you always look for. Because that'll give you your best results, essentially. You got to remember, models aren't perfect. They're far from it, actually. And there's different types of models. You got some, macro scale models, like the global models, essentially, like Icon, like we're looking at now, GFS, Euro, whatever. These are macro models or global models. And then you got the, mesoscale models, the small picture, or micro scale, really the small picture and stuff like that. Anyways, Icon. Okay, so Icon has a different kind of approach here. So we do have an area of high pressure building its way into the country, southeast U.S., right around the 22nd. That could be a big role in the steering of the storm, which we'll definitely have to see what goes on. But anyways, so Icon has it going a little farther to the west, actually just south of Jamaica. Like I said, no reason to be alarmed, but obviously we'll watch the system. Just make sure you're watching it, don't ignore it. But there's also no reason for panic, so don't worry about it. But we'll definitely keep an eye on it very, very closely. We still got plenty of time to prepare if it does become a problem, which it could. But we'll see what happens. Let's see, they're all baiting, I guess. Yeah, it's honestly sickening how many people out there basically look at the worst case scenario models and they tell everybody, like they doomcast essentially, and they're like, this is going to happen. They only do it for clicks and views. It hurts people's reputations like mine, who actually genuinely try to help people and know actually how to use the models, because people look at a bad run very far out, which is extremely far out, and it's just not good to look at that far because of how inaccurate it is. Models get pretty crazy the farther you look out due to so much uncertainty and so much, disagreement or whatever. It's just not accurate far out. And people like to look far out and find anything that looks interesting, and then they post about it, and then people freak out about it. They get their engagement, stuff like that. So please, 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 please. I'm going to tell you now, if you see somebody doing that, look at the number. Try to find a number that starts with F, like forecast hour. So you can see that says ignore my dirty monitor again. But you see how it says forecast hour 126. So I would not look any further than 150 hours out, honestly. Sometimes I go further if there's a lot of agreement in the models, but people like to go way out, like 300 hours out. And that's when you really start to see some crazy stuff, because the models can't process it very well, that far out. So just make sure you see, make sure the forecast hour that you're looking at is around 150, 180 max, because, that's somewhat still within reasonable time frame. And still remember that, models aren't perfect. They're used as a tool. They're not used as, a direct relation to what will happen. Does that make sense? So try my best to explain it. Let's see. GFS is a bad run. I don't see that happening. I mean, GFS is okay. Here, GFS is good sometimes, but that goes with every model. Some models have good runs, some models have bad runs, It happens with every model. You know, I wouldn't just completely bash the GFS. I mean, it can be pretty accurate. I've seen it very accurate. I've also seen it inaccurate. Same thing with Euro. You know, the ECMWF, I've seen the Euro model very inaccurate. I've seen it very accurate. So it really just goes with every model. So you can't just like not trust one model. You can't be like, oh no, I don't like the GFS, I'm not going to consider it in my forecast. No, you know, you got to have every model. Like I mentioned, you got to get every model. You got to say, you got to see what they all are talking about. You got to throw out what they all disagree on, and you got to keep what they agree on. So, for example, you know, if you have GFS that shows a system going far right, Euro going far left, CMC going far left, at that point, GFS is likely the denominator. Anyways, so that's that overall. Let's see here. Let's see. You're fine. I have no idea how to say that. The one I trust, but doesn't go live a lot like others. He predicted Milton from the start. Yeah, no, I got you. Yeah, Milton was something else, man. I feel like I talk about it a lot on the channel. What's up, South Central? Good to see you, my friend. But anyways, so that's that. You know, we'll definitely, you know, just keep an eye on it. You know, there's just not a whole lot that can be said right now other than just we'll watch it. You know, if you're out there in the Caribbean, I mean, just keep your eyes open. You know, we'll definitely see what happens with it. There's just, you know, there is a lot of uncertainty going on right now. And just be aware there's going to be people that are going to be hyping it up and all that stuff. So just, you know, be careful where you get your information on the weather. But anyways, you know, like I said, you can see Euro here. I mean, Euro doesn't really have a lot of, you know, development here in that system. You can obviously see it there. I mean, it's, you know, trying, but yeah, Euro doesn't really bite, essentially. GFS does, but you can see, I mean, the latest GFS has it 100 hours out, going out by, like, the Dominican Republic. The previous run before that... Okay, it kind of also shows it going out there. Let's see. Let's try the 06 UTC. Oh, wow. Kind of stalls. Maybe a little bit of Fujiwara stuff going on there. Last 3 GFS models actually have it going out near Dominican Republic. Yeah, don't want to look too far, though. I don't know. I mean, that's definitely a little interesting. But remember, you know, you got like Euro that doesn't have it developing. There's just still a lot of uncertainty. CMC has actually the system just keep on going west, kind of out there towards the Yucatan Peninsula. That is definitely a big differential there. And of course, Icon 12Z. Yeah, it has it going just south of Jamaica. Yeah, I mean, you guys can see for yourself. There's just a lot of disagreement here. So there's nothing that could be really said other than, I mean, is there likely going to be a tropical cyclone? I mean, yeah, it seems very good, you know, possibility we're getting ready to have another system, but, you know, like I mentioned, it's just a little bit too early to tell. So, anyways, but yeah, Hurricane Center, they do have an overall 70% chance on it. So basically throughout the next 7 days, you know, the next week, we have a 70% chance of the system becoming at least a tropical depression. So it goes tropical depression, it goes then tropical storm, then hurricane. I'm not saying it will be. I'm just saying, you know, that's how the scale goes. So it has a 70% chance of at least a tropical depression. That's where the circulation gets pretty good centered, but not quite strong enough for, you know, to be a hurricane or tropical storm at that point. And of course, then we have the next 2 days, so the next 48 hours, 30% chance. So, I mean, yeah, it's still pretty unlikely that it's going to be doing anything here. Within the next 3 days, or sorry, the next 2 days, we still got that 30%. I mean, it's possible, but, you know, not really expected. It's got a lot of work to do before it becomes one. But yeah, next week, really good odds. What's up, Misty? Good to see ya. Why is half of Florida in green? So this is a general thunderstorm threat. You know, this is just saying, hey, you know, a few booms of thunder possible, nothing severe, nothing big. It's just telling us that there's a risk for storms, essentially. Nothing damaging, though. That's for day 3, by the way. That's day after tomorrow. Today, you can see also Florida has that, too, with that cold front coming through. But anyways. But all right, everybody. Well, if y'all have any questions, feel free to let me know. Put them down in the chat. But yeah, I just want to hop on here for a little bit, do a bit of an update on the tropics and everything going on here. So, you know, like I mentioned, you know, just try not to worry about the system. There's just so much uncertainty right now. I mean, the more that we learn, or the more the time goes on, the more we'll learn. You know, we'll have new observations, you know, new weather data coming in. And like I mentioned, you know, these observations that are, you know, actually observed, get put into the models, and the models generate the data, and they process it on a time series in the future. So just give it time. You know, we'll watch it. Obviously, like I said, I mean, my folks in the Caribbean, you know, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Jamaica, really wouldn't hurt if you guys watch the storm pretty closely. I mean, just everybody in the Caribbean, let's just keep an eye on it. You know, no reason for full-on panic or any, you know, massive buying or anything like that. That's not needed right now. There's just too much uncertainty at the moment. Models are literally all over the place. Some have it going farther west, some have it going north as a hurricane, some have it just going west and not doing anything. So there's just so much that just can't be said right now. But the more that we learn, the more we'll, you know what's going to happen with it. And obviously, we'll keep you guys up to date. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. I'm not going to hold you to it, but just consider it. It could come in handy, and that way you guys can stay up to date and stay weather aware. But all right, everybody. Well, if y'all have any final questions, let me know. Throw it down in the chat before I roll off here. It'll be, like I said, you know, we're here for you guys, and you know, we got you all if you have any questions. Also, once again, a big shout out goes to Chris for the $10 super chat earlier. Thank you so much, dude. If you're still here, really appreciate it. Greatly appreciate it, my friend. You know, definitely helps us out a ton. Helps me, you know, keep everything up and running. So I really, really appreciate that. But alrighty, everybody. Well, thank you all for joining. You guys take care. Have a wonderful rest of your night. We might come back on later tonight, like pretty late. So, you know, we might hop back on a YouTube short live stream. I think I'm going to start doing these for just general updates. Videos we'll do on my computer, and then coverages we'll do on my computer too. I just think it's much easier this way. But all right, everybody. Thanks for joining. You guys take care. Have a wonderful rest of your night, and we'll see you guys here later on. All right, everybody. Peace out. See ya later on.